Hey guys, let's start the 70th episode of Daily Football News and know what has happened in the past 24 hours. Barcelona Messi's boost, why Eriksen visits Inter training. Where is Messi? Messi's signature is incoming, why 11 people arrested. Does Lukaku deal affect Haaland? Let's quickly find out all of these in this video. Before starting this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. So at first, without delay, let's get to know some main news of the day. The league has seen a massive injection of funds that will help clubs recover from the economic issues caused by the coronavirus. After battling economic problems due to the coronavirus, Laliga has secured an incredible €2.7 billion loan that should pave the way for Barcelona to finalize Lionel Messi's new contract. CVC Capital Partners has provided the massive injection of funds and will have a 10% stake in a newly created company that La Liga will lead, which will focus on growing revenue. Of the funds invested, a majority percentage will be distributed to clubs, with Barcelona and Real Madrid receiving €280 million each. Speaking exclusively to Goal, football finance expert Mark Syria said, 90% of the €2.7 billion will fall to the clubs in the form of a 40-year soft loan. In addition, Syria says that 70% of that will be used for investments in infrastructure, 15% to refinance debt, and 15% to extend the salary limit. Barcelona will receive approximately €280 million, of which about €42 million will be used to increase the salary limit. That injection will allow the club to register the 4 signings of the summer and finally confirm their new deal with Messi. Christian Eriksen has visited Inter's training facility for the first time since his collapse at Euro 2020 as the midfielder's wait to resume his career continues. Eriksen suffered a health scare that sent shockwaves across the football world during Denmark's first group stage fixture against Finland at the European Championships. The 29-year-old had to be resuscitated after he stopped breathing on the pitch and was subsequently admitted to hospital for tests, with doctors later confirming that he had experienced cardiac arrest. Eriksen was released from hospital after 6 days under observation, but had to watch on from the sidelines as his Denmark teammates made it all the way through to the Euros semi-finals, and it is not yet known if he will be cleared to play competitively again. However, Inter have confirmed that the playmaker made his long-awaited return to the club on Wednesday while giving an update on his condition and the next stage in his recovery. This morning, Christian Eriksen paid a visit to the Suning training center in a Piano Gentile. A statement on the Nerazzurri's official website reads, "The Danish midfielder met the club directors, the coach, teammates, and all of the staff present. Eriksen is doing well and is in excellent physical and mental shape. He will now follow the recovery program put forward by Danish doctors in Copenhagen, who will also coordinate the clinical follow-up. The intermedical staff will naturally be kept informed and up to date throughout the process." Lionel Messi has returned to Barcelona having ended his holidays in Ibiza, and the Catalan club are now confident that the Argentine will have his new contract signed in a matter of hours. The club and player agreed terms weeks ago, but it is only ready to become official now that the player is back in the city. The signing of the contract will then lead to Messi's return to training at Barcelona, having ended his holidays on Wednesday. His return has allowed the Blaugrana to breathe a little more easily. Messi will ratify the agreement reached 3 weeks ago, and will commit the next 5 years of his career to Barcelona. However, in the final 3 years he could play in the United States and become an ambassador for the Catalan club. The number 10 has returned to Catalonia after his post-Copa America holidays came to an end, and his agent and father Jorge Messi plans to be in Barcelona before the end of the week, meaning the prolonged soap opera is finally set to end almost a year after the player announced his intentions to leave the Camp Nou. He is expected to be involved as Barcelona are presented at the Joan Gamper Trophy this coming Sunday. The agreement was only made possible thanks to the fact that Messi has reduced his salary by half in the economic injection received by La Liga from the American investment fund CVC. Barcelona, though, are still working to reduce their wage bill further as required by La Liga. As a result, Barcelona and La Liga will keep one of the world's most valuable players in Spain. Messi, who has 6 Ballon d'Ors and 6 Golden Boots, will begin his 18th season in Spain's top flight as he looks to further cement his place in the record books. Lionel Messi and Barcelona are set to be officially linked once again, with the Argentine's new contract with the club expected to be announced in the next few hours. Both parties reached an agreement 3 weeks ago, but financial issues at Barcelona meant the deal had to be delayed. But now President Joan Laporta now breathing easy as his main goal has been achieved. The club are confident that their star man will put pen to paper on his new contract in the coming hours and they can make Messi stay at Barcelona official. Messi has been a free agent since June 30th, when his deal with Barcelona expired, and Jorge Messi, the player's father and agent, is expected to be in Barcelona by the end of the week. That will put an end to the soap opera, which has gone on for almost a year since the number 10 announced his intention to leave the Camp Nou. Messi will ratify the agreement reached 3 weeks ago, and will commit the next 5 years of his career to Barcelona. However, in the final 3 years he could play in the United States and become an ambassador for the Catalan club. The agreement was only made possible thanks to the fact that Messi has reduced his salary by half in the economic injection received by Laliga from the American investment fund CVC. Barcelona, though, are still working to reduce their wage bill further as required by La Liga. As a result, Barcelona and La Liga will keep one of the world's most valuable players in Spain. Messi, who has 6 Ballon d'Ors and 6 Golden Boots, will begin his 18th season in Spain's top flight as he looks to further cement his place in the record books. Police have arrested 11 people as they continue a hate crimes investigation into social media messages sent after the Euro 2020 final. The UK Football Policing Unit received 600 reports of racist comments sent to England's black players after the defeat and judged 207 to be criminal. Of these, 123 were posted by people overseas, while 34 came from the UK. Police said people who think they can hide behind social media accounts need to think again. A wave of racist social media abuse was aimed at Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, and Bukayo Saka after they missed penalties in the shootout at the Euro 2020 final last month. It led to condemnations by the Football Association, England manager Gareth Southgate, and the Prime Minister. Chief Constable Mark Roberts, National Police Chiefs Council Football Policing Lead, said the investigation was proceeding at pace and said a vast amount of work went into identifying the 11 people arrested so far. Details of the 123 foreign accounts are due to be passed on to their respective countries for local authorities to take action. Police are awaiting information from social media companies about the owners of the remaining 50 accounts. It's a very good question, as Chelsea were very interested in Erling Haaland. Who knows, they could still be interested. Did you see a situation where they could try to break the bank by bringing in Haaland and Romelu Lukaku? That seems unlikely. This could drag on into next summer. Borussia Dortmund have said that there's no gentleman's agreement with Haaland as there was with Jadon Sancho. All of the noises coming out of Germany are saying that Dortmund won't sell both those players in the same transfer window. Haaland has a release clause that kicks in next summer, with Man City in for Harry Kane and Chelsea in for Lukaku. Where does it leave those two clubs with regards to Haaland? Maybe they both feel they could pair those players with Haaland, but next summer there will be more clubs who could afford him. Now we move on to some interesting news of the day. Chelsea are preparing a new bid for Inter striker Romelu Lukaku of up to €130 million. Goal can confirm, with the striker open to a move if a fee can be agreed. Lukaku is being tipped to return to Stamford Bridge this summer as Thomas Tuchel seeks to bolster his attacking options at Chelsea ahead of his first full season in charge. Goal has reported that the Blues have already seen an opening offer of €100 million for the Belgian rejected, which included Spanish fullback Marcos Alonso as a potential makeweight. New Crystal Palace boss Patrick Vieira has declared he's determined to hold on to star winger Wilfried Zaha heading into his first season in charge of the squad. Despite the Arsenal-linked player reportedly informing management earlier this summer that he wants out, Vieira said he's looking forward to working with him after holding a good conversation with the attacker about his future. The creative Norwich midfielder has continued to elevate his standing in pre-season action. Aston Villa want to sign Norwich City midfielder Todd Cantwell as a replacement for Jack Grealish if Grealish does depart for Manchester City in the coming weeks, according to Sky Sports. Villa have already signed Emiliano Buendia from Norwich and have established a positive relationship with the club. Plus, Cantwell is entering the final year of his current contract, and the Canaries may want to cash in now. Chelsea boss Thomas Tuchel has said that a lot of players want to join, but that he will not be drawn on reports that Romelu Lukaku could transfer to Stamford Bridge this summer. "I will not talk about players who don't play in my squad," he told reporters. "He's a fantastic player, but he's an Inter player and I will not talk about him in this situation." Aston Villa have completed the signing of Danny Ings, the club announced on Wednesday, in a deal with a reported €30 million. The striker has signed a 3-year deal with the club as he makes the move from Southampton, where he scored 13 goals in all competitions last season. Ings now joins the likes of Leon Bailey, Emi Buendia and Ashley Young at Villa Park as the club continues a busy summer. Manchester City fans will have to wait another day to see Jack Grealish in the sky blue kit. Sky Sports are reporting that the forward will undergo a medical examination on Thursday ahead of his mega move to the Etihad. According to Sky Sports, Arsenal are considering a move for Leicester City playmaker James Maddison. The player is valued at around €50 million by the Foxes, and the Gunners have already splashed out on Ben White so far this summer. As a result, that move might prove to be too expensive, and Arsenal are thus keep an eye on Martin Odegaard's situation at Real Madrid, who could see himself loaned out once more. Contract renewals seem to be the order of the day for Liverpool, and after Trent Alexander-Arnold and Fabinho, news has reached us that Alisson Becker has signed a deal with the Reds until 2027. Lyon were closing in on the signing of Ajax goalkeeper Andre Onana, with it seeming like the deal is practically done. but L'Equipe state that the goalkeeper has turned down a move to the French club. Instead, he will see which clubs come in for him once he enters the last 6 months of his contract in January. It is worth remembering that Onana is currently serving a doping ban and cannot play until November. The Netherlands have announced that Louis van Gaal has come out of retirement to become their head coach once again, as the 69-year-old pens a deal until after the 2022 World Cup. This is Van Gaal's third stint in charge of the Orange. Leicester star Wesley Fofana was rushed to hospital after suffering a serious leg injury during the friendly defeat win over Villarreal. The centre-back was slumped on the turf for a lengthy period of time as he received medical attention from the physios during a 3-2 victory. Fofana went down after a shocking scissor tackle from Villarreal's Nino on the hour mark that could see him potentially miss a large chunk of the season. The 20-year-old's leg appeared to get trapped under Nino's body, with Fofana falling awkwardly as a result. There are fears he may have broken his leg, although the full extent of the injury will be revealed on Thursday after scans are completed. Tottenham manager Nuno Espirito Santo says the current situation regarding Harry Kane's future has to be solved internally as the club captain remains absent from pre-season. Speaking after a 2-2 draw against Chelsea, Nuno said, "It's not that I don't want to comment. This issue should be discussed internally to try and avoid any public argument or discussion. We have to solve the situation between us. We solve the situation internally, speaking and trying to reach a better solution and a conclusion to this situation. We solve the situation internally, speaking and trying to reach a better solution and a conclusion to this situation." James Maddison is not the only player Arsenal are looking at. They're keeping an eye on Martin Odegaard's situation at Real Madrid, where he has 2 years left on his contract. He spent the second half of last season at the Emirates, but Odegaard went back to Madrid and said he wanted to fight for a place in the side under Carlo Ancelotti. There could yet be a situation where Real would allow him to go and Arsenal would be interested. Compared to a Maddison deal, this one would be a lot cheaper and easier to do. It wouldn't cost them in the region of 60 to 70 million euros. This evening, the Daily Telegraph and The Guardian are reporting that Harry Kane is still not even in the country. They say he is still in the United States, so that means he won't be training in the morning according to those reports. But how long will it take him to get back into training? Once he comes back from the States, he's going to have to isolate and have tests, so we're talking days and days before he can return. So, this was the end of our 70th episode. We will be back with more interesting news and transfer rumors tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon.